The guests whispered as she rolled down the aisle in her wheelchair, her white dress glowing in the sunlight. She had dreamed of this day since she was a little girl. But what she didn't know was that before she could even say, "I do," her world would fall apart, in front of everyone. The man she loved would reject her, and the wedding would stop cold. Just when she thought her heart couldn't take any more pain, a single dad, someone she barely knew, stepped forward and did something no one could have imagined. Before we get into this powerful story about love, courage, and kindness, make sure to subscribe to Kindness Action, where we share real stories that warm hearts and remind us that good people still exist. Don't forget to like this video if it touches you, and comment below what kindness means to you. Now, let's begin. The story. Emily had always been full of life. She loved dancing, hiking, and chasing sunsets. But one rainy evening changed everything. A car accident left her paralyzed from the waist down. Doctors said she might never walk again. For months, she cried herself to sleep, wondering how she'd ever find happiness. Her fiancé, Brad, had promised he'd stay by her side. He told her love was more than physical. But as the months passed, he visited less. He stopped answering calls, made excuses not to help with therapy, and acted like she was a burden. Still, Emily held on. She believed love could survive anything. And when Brad finally agreed to go through with their wedding, she thought it was a sign, a miracle. The morning of the wedding, the garden was decorated with white roses. Guests filled the seats, whispering about how brave Emily was to go through with it. She wore a lace gown that made her feel beautiful again. For the first time in a long time, she smiled. But when the ceremony began, Brad looked uneasy. His hands trembled. He wouldn't meet her eyes. And when the officiant asked if he was ready to take Emily as his wife, Brad froze. Everyone went silent. Then, with a deep sigh, he shook his head. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I can't do this. I can't spend the rest of my life like this." The words hit Emily like a knife. He walked away, leaving her sitting alone at the altar, surrounded by shocked guests and fading music. Tears filled her eyes. The man she loved had just rejected her, not because of who she was, but because of what she couldn't do anymore. She wanted to disappear. As the guests began to leave, one man stayed behind. His name was Daniel. He was a quiet single father with twin daughters, who had come because his kids were friends with Emily's niece. He watched as Emily sat in her wheelchair, broken-hearted, while the last petals from her bouquet drifted onto the ground. Daniel walked up slowly. His daughters held his hands tightly, watching the sad bride. "Emily," he said gently, kneeling beside her. "You don't deserve this. No one does." She looked at him through her tears, too hurt to speak. "My wife passed away 3 years ago," Daniel continued. "I know what it feels like to lose someone, to have your world collapse. But you still have so much light in you. Don't let someone's weakness take that away." Emily tried to smile, but her lips trembled. "It's hard to believe that right now," she whispered. "I know," Daniel said softly. "But my girls and I, we believe in second chances. Why don't you come have dinner with us sometime? No pressure. Just friends." His kindness caught her off guard. No pity, no awkward silence, just genuine warmth. She nodded slowly. That evening, while the wedding decorations were being taken down, Daniel's daughters brought Emily a handful of wildflowers they had picked. "You're the prettiest princess we've ever seen," one of them said. For the first time that day, Emily laughed. Days turned into weeks. Daniel kept his promise. He called to check in, dropped by with his daughters, and brought her homemade soup when she was too tired to cook. Slowly, Emily started to feel alive again. One afternoon, Daniel invited her to the park. His girls ran ahead, laughing, while he pushed Emily's wheelchair along the path. The sun was warm, and the sound of laughter filled the air. "You know," he said, "you inspire me. You don't give up." Emily smiled. "I used to think my life was over. But maybe, it's just different now." Daniel nodded. "Different doesn't mean worse. Sometimes, it means better." His words stayed with her. Weeks later, Daniel surprised her with something that made her cry, in the best way. He had arranged a small community event to raise funds for wheelchair-accessible parks and facilities in their town. "This is for you," he said, "and for everyone who deserves a chance to feel free again." When Emily rolled onto the stage to thank everyone, she spotted Daniel's daughters waving from the crowd, holding a sign that said, "We love you, Miss Emily." Her voice trembled as she spoke. "A few months ago, I thought my life was over. But someone showed me that kindness can rebuild what pain destroys. You never know how much your heart can heal, until someone believes in you again." The crowd stood and applauded. And in that moment, Emily realized that the love she thought she lost had come back, not in the way she expected, but in a form that was real, pure, and kind. Months later, Emily and Daniel became inseparable. His daughters adored her, and she adored them. On a quiet evening in that same garden where her heart once broke, Daniel got down on one knee. He didn't promise a perfect life. He promised a kind one. "Emily," he said softly, "I don't see your wheelchair. I see your strength, your smile, your heart. You saved me and my girls without even trying. Will you marry us?" Tears streamed down her face as she nodded. "Yes," she whispered. 1,000 times yes. This time, when she rolled down the aisle, it wasn't in sadness, it was in joy. The guests cheered, the girls threw flower petals, and Daniel stood waiting, smiling with pride. Kindness doesn't always come from grand gestures. Sometimes, it's a single dad reaching out to a stranger who's lost all hope. Sometimes, it's a smile, a warm word, or an open heart that reminds someone they're still worthy of love. Emily's story reminds us that even when life breaks us, kindness can rebuild us stronger than before. So today, if you see someone struggling, don't turn away. Be there, Daniel. Offer your hand, your heart, your time. Because you never know whose life you might change, or how deeply your kindness might ripple through the world. If this story touched your heart, please subscribe to Kindness Action, like this video, and share it to spread the message that kindness still matters. Together, we can make the world a gentler place, one story at a time.